Welcome back to my YouTube online video tutorial series. For this video, I will be looking at, upon completing this video, welcome back to my online video tutorial series. At the end of this video, you should know how to draw walls using AutoCAD Architecture. For this video, I'll be starting from scratch. So to get started, click Start. My next step is to remove my grid. I left click here to remove my grid. Next is to ensure that my unit is in millimeters. For that, I type UN, and I check to ensure that it is in millimeters. If this is not in millimeters, I will click the drop down here, then change to the unit of my choice. Next is to change my precision to 0. I click here, click no decimal places. Then I click apply. Okay, that is good to go. My next step is to set up my limit. And you would know from previous video what limit is. Limit is basically an imaginary space that we assume the drawing to occupy. For a typical building drawing, suitable limit would be 15,000 by 15,000 for a typical CSEC floor plan. So for that, I type LIMI, and you will notice limit pops up. I click enter to accept it. My next step is to establish my lower limit. Please note that lower limit is always 0, 0. And as you can see here, the last limit is already stated, which is 0, 0. I then click my enter key to accept that lower limit. To not specify my upper limit. In this case, I want 15,000, 15,000. And now that my limit has been set, the next step is to ensure that I bring that limit onto the screen. To bring that limit onto the screen, we must type enter zoom all. So for that, I type Z followed by the enter key, A followed by the enter key to bring that limit onto the screen. Now that my limit is on the screen, the next step would be to change to my wall layer. Currently, I have no layer because this is a new drawing, very sterile. So for AutoCAD Architecture, it is important to note that here, this is a little bit different from the regular AutoCAD. Layer property is not as pronounced as it used to be. So you can activate your layer properties by 2 ways. You may type LA followed by the enter key, that will bring it up, or you could click on this icon here. This icon, the first one above layers. So click this one, and our next step would be to click on this to name our first layer. So my first layer is wall. So I type a wall, and I want could change the color to whatever you want. I will be using this as my wall layer. Probably should use black normally, or white. Would use white. Use black. It doesn't really matter seriously. All right. Let the white stay. Okay. The next is to change from the default layer to 0.75 or 0.6. 0.6 is good, then okay. I want to add one more layer for my roof, which you don't really need for this particular video. So I'm going to label this one roof, ROOF. which is my next video. Again, I'm going to change the color for this from that to red. Line weight thickness, I want this, click OK to accept that. Line weight thickness, I want this to be 0.25 or 0.3 should be good. Okay. I will then click onto my wall to make it current. And then I will X that off. Now, to start drawing a wall, we can do that one of two ways. We can click Type Tool Palettes to bring up, click here, then go to Design Tools, and this will bring up our tool palette. We can then click Wall from here. What this does, this gives us a number of options, several options to choose from. The wall, if we don't see the wall that we want here, so CMU 195, this is cement masonry unit. This is basically the typical blocks that we normally use. All right. So if you and you have quite a number of options there. For this video, I'll be keeping it really, really simple. So that is one way of choosing the wall. You could also click on wall from here. Click on wall from here. So you click wall. Once you click onto wall, it will bring up this properties palette. It is very important that you adjust this palette here. You'll need to adjust the wall size. Currently, for this has the history that the previous setting that I made, and I changed this to the wall thickness to 150, and let me adjust this to 170, and the base height. The base height is the distance from the finished floor to the ceiling. The base height. That's the base height. So this 3927. This is 2700, which is consistent with a 9 feet high finished floor to ceiling. Another important part here is justification. This is very important. I discussed justification before in previous video, but justification determines where measurement is taken from. And probably I should explain this a little bit. So say, for example, I have a wall here, one wall here, and a second wall here. We have left justification, which means that measurements are taken from the left-hand side of the wall to the consecutive left side of the wall. So this is left justification. For left justification, the wall is to the right of this. And while I start drawing, you will realize that there's a line that denotes which justification is. To change your justification, that can be done one of two ways. We can press the Shift key, or we can press Control. The difference between Shift and Control is that Shift changes the justification from left to center and from center to right. So we have three justification as stated here. We have left justification, we have center justification. With center justification, measurement is taken from the center of each wall. So the measurement will be taken from here, from the center of this wall to the center of the other wall. It is important to note that you might need to add a wall thickness, 150 or 170, depending on the thickness of your wall. Yeah. Say, for example, you need an inside wall measurement of, say, 4,000. Say 4,000. 4,000. If the center to center measure, if you're using the center to center measurement, you would need to add 150. You would need to add 150 to this measurement to get the inside distance of 4,000. Let me explain. From here, from center to center, yeah, is a little bit more than this. So from here to here, we have a distance of half the wall thickness there and half the wall thickness here. So if the wall thickness is 170, you need to add half of 170 to the overall dimension. So in this case, this would be 4,175. Yeah, 4,170. Sorry for that. And for left justification, it's basically the same. So it's important to note that whichever justification you use, you will need to add 150 or the wall thickness. In this case, 170. All right. Those are some very important information that you will need to know. All right. So let us start drawing our wall. Oh, before we do that, I need to explain something else. All right. Something else. Well, the justification has been explained. Roof line. This is basically, but we won't touch these for now. We won't get into these for now. So that's pretty much good. Let us get into the actual drawing of a wall. All right. So now that we set this, it will then allow us to start drawing our wall. So before you start drawing a wall, please ensure that you set your scale to 1:1. So click onto the scale. Ensure that the scale is at 1:1. Probably that should have been done before, but it's okay. Also ensure that orthogonal mode is engaged. What that does, that allows the lines to be drawn perfectly horizontal and vertical. All right. I need to go back to my wall and again. So we have that. So currently I am gonna, well, let's start drawing a wall and then you will pick up on some things. So I start clicking here. As I start to draw, you'll realize that broken line, that yellow broken line. What that's saying is that the measurement is taken from that side. Yeah. As I look at this, as I press the shift once, that line moves from the top to the middle. Click one more time, it goes to the bottom. So what that is doing, that is changing the justification or where the measurement is taken from. All right. Very important. As I click here, then I move up. Please note that control can be used also to flip. Look, I press control once. Look what happened. The justification is now to the right. So again, one more time. So that it's now to the left. As you click the control key, flip justification to the right or to the left. The shift key is a little different. When you press the shift key once, it changes from left to center, back to right, then to center, and back to right. So you must be mindful of this when you're drawing your walls. All right. Something else that you need to be mindful of is your that box that pops up. Yeah. When you're drawing, I would like you to take special note here where that box, that green box pops up. If this is right justification, that box there will pop up at the right hand side. If it's center justification, that box, this little box right here, will appear at the center. If it is left justification, it will appear to the left of that line. All right. So I click there, then escape, and our line is drawn. We need to be mindful of that, right? We always start a line from the justification point to the next end. Very important. So this is basically how we draw a wall. Now, we can manipulate this wall somewhat, all right? We can click here. Please note, we can click here, click the script to change the wall thickness. So say, for example, I want to change this wall from 150 to 170. I can do that. This wall is now changed from 150 to 170, just like that. Again, I can click. I can also move this wall. So I click here and drag, and this wall will extend out somewhat. As I move out, you will notice that blue box, which is pretty much indicating the adjustment. What you can do here, you can enter a specific amount that you want to extend this wall by. Say, for example, I wish to extend this wall by say 1500. I would enter 1500, enter, and this wall would have been extended by that distance. You could also change or flip the justification by clicking here, and you'll notice the justification is now at the left. All right, very important. So that's pretty much, there is, well, but there might be a little more to wall. We can also offset wall. To offset this wall in a specific distance, we can type offset, enter, click onto the wall, then enter the offset distance. Say, for example, I want to offset this by 2000. I type 200, enter, and look at that, the wall is now offset 2000. I can click, enter, offset distance of 4000, enter. All right, let me do it again. Offset, enter. Offset distance, I want to use 2T, enter this wall, and then right there, click, move again, move, enter. And I can continue doing that. Click, then type in a distance that I want. Let this be 2500, enter. So this wall pretty much will move that distance. I could also fillet walls, yeah? So I could click here. I could draw another wall. Let's draw an next wall out here. Oh, let me show you how we trim wall as well. I can click onto this wall, and I can extend this wall out. You will notice that there are two values there. As I drag this wall out, you will notice that there is a blue box there which is active. This is telling me how much I'm extending this by. There's also another value up at the top there, which is pretty much, notice those? As I move this, those values change. Yeah. So I can determine how much this wall is extended by, or I could also determine the overall length that this wall is. I could do that by pressing the tab. And as I press the tab key once, notice it changes from the extension to the total length. Click tab one more time, changes. Tab one more time, and I'm going to type in, I want to change the overall length in this case, 15000, enter. And what happened? The overall length for this wall changes to that value. Yeah, very important. Again, so let me show you, we could also extend this wall by a certain amount. So in this case, I want to extend this wall by a specific amount, say 3000. So I enter 3000, enter. And this wall extends by that amount. I could also trim off, I could trim wall also, just like how we trim using regular lines. We could also trim walls in AutoCAD. To do that, I type TR, enter 2 times, and I click or click and drag, and just like that, our wall is trimmed. We could also offset walls, just like how we could fillet wall. We could have this wall joining this wall at a point. Yeah, just like how we do to our regular lines. Let's do that. So for fillet, FILL, fillet, and I choose radius. I don't want this to have any radius, so let's confirm that the radius is 0. In this case, radius is 0, so I click enter to accept, enter. I then click this end and this end, and see my wall extends to a point. You know, very, very useful. Very, very useful. I could also move a wall. I could also adjust my wall. So I click this wall and I click this one, and in this case, I want to deactivate my orthogonal mode. I could grip this and pull these walls out. Yeah, just like that. Of course, I don't really want us to undo. So that is basically what wall is. I could also change the property of walls. So again, I click on the wall, then right click to bring up the properties of this wall. And again, I could change the wall thickness to probably say 200. Enter. I could also change the base height, enter to accept that. And that would have been changed to that. All right. There's something else I want to mention. I would like to mention. We could also draw a wall relative to a point. So let's do that. So I want to draw a wall relative to, for example, this end. So to do that, I pretty much track this point. And please note that the start point would be relative to where the justification is. So I place my crosshair here. I do not click. I drag this across. You will notice that broken line, that green broken line. Yeah. So I will click a distance that I would want this wall to be from that point. So in this case, let's let it be 1500. Enter. And this wall will start at that point. Let me deactivate my AutoCAD mode. In this case, I want the wall to be on the outside of the measurement or to the right. So I simply press Control to flip my wall. So Control, the wall is now flipped. I could track this point. For example, I want this wall to end right here. I simply place my crosshair here, but I do not click. So I place it here, click there, then I come here. And in this case, I want this wall justification to be on the other side. So I flip it, and flip it. I escape. So what I have here, I realized I flipped it's on the wrong justification. So I simply click this and flip my justification. So the wall is the justification is here, and the wall is on the wrong side of the justification. So to correct that, I simply click this arrow right here. Bring this up to that. Escape. So that is pretty much what wall is about.